Hey, good morning, guys. Good afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're in. It's about 7:30 a.m. here. So we're about an hour, about a half hour out of lunch, New York time. Interesting day, right? The Nasdaq came out of the gates just on fire, and then the Dow was a little flat, but the S&P, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, set a high again this morning, and then everything just kind of rolled over, right? Uh, Basically on nothing. There wasn't really any news or anything like that. Of course, we've got the consumer price coming out, I believe Thursday. So there's a little concern about that. There's a lot of talk. You see it on the TV and stuff, the media talk about tapering and things like that. We'll see how it shakes out when we get the Fed next week. That's all the way out till next week, the Fed meeting. So, other than that, like I said, I'm looking at the market right now. The Dow's down about 9, the comp's up about, the Nasdaq's up about 20 points, and the S&P about a point and a quarter there, pretty much flatlining. Pretty much across the board, it's flat. It's been an interesting day. Gold is still struggling, even with all these inflation concerns that seems to be affecting the market. It's not really affecting gold right now, as it pulled back off that 1900 a couple of days ago, and it's kind of stayed steady underneath it. Maybe it's getting ready for a move when we actually hear from the Fed, or maybe the trade's kind of just dwindling away. Oil started off the morning a little weak, and then it got a lot better later in the day. Let me check what oil's at right now. Yeah, see, it's pushing at $70 again. So all those energy plays that we've been in, we're still very happy about those. We told you yesterday we opened up another energy play. I wanted to give our members time to start getting their positions right before I released it to you guys. We started buying MRO, Marathon. We like Marathon going forward. It's a nice momentum stock too for you guys that like to trade more of the mid to short terms. We're buying some options. We bought some calls all the way out to September. We got some good pricing on some calls. So we like the way we're positioning, even with the softness today. And we think that'll resolve itself very quickly. A lot of these stocks, especially the ones we've been in, have had some big runs. The Suncor SU, the ET, and now the Marathon Oil. And we just came off a nice win on the XLE, right? XLE is doing real well today. Just so you guys understand, we explained this to our membership. The reason we exited the XLE at a nice profit, wasn't because we don't like it or anything, but the expiration date was coming up next week. So, if this whole Iran negotiations, if all this outside effects kind of slowed down oil for 2 or 3 days, that would have really destroyed that premium on the time decay. So we took the money, and then the next day we put the money right back to work in Marathon Oil after we saw that oil was holding up that hitting that $70, right? So we'll see if it takes another shot at $70 today. We can go take a look at a chart. Let's go take a look at a chart together. All right, so there's your QQQs, and what am I on? I'm on a 5-minute chart. Let's get up on a year chart. Let's get this handsome guy out of the way. And you can see that our Fibonacci is playing true, right? When we first saw that sell down, that's when we opened the position. We saw a nice bounce and confirmation on that midline on the Fibonacci, and we've been riding it ever since. It is a great thing about a Fibonacci retrace for you new chartists and stuff. It's very simple to use, right? You put it on your most recent top, and you drag it to your most recent bottom, and then you kind of watch the numbers in between. 50 is your boy line, right? And you see how we bounced there at 50? We breached it a little bit, almost tapped that 38%, and then we kind of fought back a little bit up to the 61%. And that's your entry there when you got that nice green bar confirming that this was the bottom, and you can see what happens. And Fibonacci is a lot of fun for you new traders, for you, and it's a very reliable indicator. But you got to get used to it. You see how it'll challenge a level, it might fail. Then when it challenges again, it'll take it. Once it takes and holds that level, it's probably moving up to the next one. And you see how it goes on and on and on. We're sitting right here on those calls. So we'll see how this bar resolves itself and all that. You can see the market's just kind of popping green, popping red. It's just an interesting day, very lethargic day. Not a whole lot of volume out there, not a whole lot of news that drives markets. Yeah, so it's just an interesting day. Let's pop on over to CNBC and we can go across the board real quick. with the market. There you go. You can see the normal markets. See that Russell's still participating, which is positive going forward. Remember, Russell is your small caps, and what drives the economy in the United States is your small business, right? VIX isn't flashing much there. It's up a little bit, about 1.5%, but it's still well below that 20 threshold, and also I mean, it's 16.75. It's not much. Other than that, you see the Reddit gang's at it again with a new one with the Clover Health. We're still trying to catch up on the BB, you know. These guys move quick if you're going to play along with them. A little bit too fast paced for our blood. You know, I believe AMC was down for the day, if I'm not mistaken. So that trade's slowing down. But that's the thing you got to be aware of if you're going to play these stocks, like the Reddit stocks. Just remember, at some point it becomes a blinky light situation, and what that means is when they start getting into it, it becomes a blinky light, and all the fireflies come to it. By the time they get to the blinky light, they've moved on to another blinky light, and then that's what's called a bag holder. Okay, and we don't want to be bag holders. So if you're not going to sit there, you're not going to really pay attention to it. We just skip those. We kind of dabbled in them a little bit. I told you guys we kind of messed around one contract on BB and stuff like that, and that hasn't worked out. Not that we expected it to. Yeah, you can see we still got this whole infrastructure voting reform thing going on with Congress. Not a whole lot of move forward on either of those. Manchin is still the issue for the Democrats with the voter reform bill, and they just can't seem to come together on the infrastructure bill, and that looks like it's going to drag on. They're saying that they want to get this done by summer, but let's remember that we are now into our first month of summer, right? Anyways, other than that, you know, there's just not a whole lot of market moving news out there. One thing that did move the markets, and let's kind of push down. Let's do oil first. You can see oil there. It's starting to move towards that $70 a barrel again. The chart looks fine. It looked like it's just a little consolidation this morning. Oil at some points is a very petulant trade, guys. Remember that. You get this news, you know, where the United States is going back into the Iran deal, and they're going to free up the oil from Iran so they can put it on the market. We better sell our oil. It's a petulant trade, right? Let it work out. Let it work out. Let's see how that news really is affecting things. And we slide on over to gold. You would think gold would be doing real well, right? The last time it popped and made a move towards that 1900, it was a couple of weeks ago, and it was based on that inflation fears. Well, now we saw a lot of it this morning when we were watching the morning financial shows like Fox Business News and CNBC. There was a lot of talk about this upcoming Fed meeting on Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And it hasn't affected gold at all. There's also the theory, too, that there's a Bitcoin gold correlation going on here. Let's pop on over to crypto and see how it's doing. And that selling continues, right? A little bit more issue with the Bitcoin. Yesterday, President Trump came out on, I believe it was Stu Varney's show on Fox Business News, and he said that it was a scam. It's been kind of downhill there. One thing we wanted to mention about Bitcoin and what's going on is a lot of today's selling is based on what's going on with this ransom and the recovery of the ransom with that oil pipeline, right? And it's being misinterpreted. I mean, common sense tells you it's being misinterpreted, and so we're not making moves one way or the other right now on Bitcoin. We're in Bitcoin, like we've talked about in the crypto show. But if anything, we're looking at this a buying opportunity until it proves otherwise. We think it's starting to bottom out a little bit at the bottom of that cycle, but we think a lot of this is it's a little over enthusiastic selling based on the idea that the government was able to go into a wallet and seize funds, which is contradictory to everything Bitcoin, right? And everything blockchain. We don't think that's the fact of it. We'll talk more about this on the Friday crypto show, but we think as the facts come out, people will start realizing that it was probably just they were able to look, the Bitcoin, the whole blockchain is transparent, right? You can see every transaction. That's the joy of it. No one entity or person can control it, right? Like a Federal Reserve or something like that, a few people controlling the futures of everybody. That's contradictory, right, to everything that the blockchain is. So there's a lot of talk about the government was able to go into a wallet and take these funds. Well, I mean, they can find where the Bitcoin went because it's a transaction, right? So it's recorded on the ledger and it's public, right? So they can see what wallet it went to. We think that they went to a hot wallet and they were able to bully whoever controlled the hot wallet. If that Bitcoin had been on a hardware wallet, we'd probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We'll get more into that in the crypto show. I know a lot of you are here just for the stocks. Other than that, guys, let's go take a look where the market is right now. You know, and this is a great indicator of just how wishy-washy this market is right now. Let's pop on back to the Schwab screen, and you can see, look at that, the Dow's now up 8 points. Comp is moving higher, and the S&P is moving a little bit green. We're green across the board now. So when we started, it was the opposite, right? So we'll see how the afternoon plays out. Like we told you, we want to see some resolution on this bar here. We want to see if we're still getting higher highs and higher lows, which would just indicate that it's a soft day, and we're probably going to continue on this in the days forward. So other than that, guys, you have a great Tuesday. Okay. Just don't have anything more besides that. Don't forget to tune into the crypto show, and we'll go over. We talked about the last crypto show. We started a little Voyager portfolio so we could feed the Nexo, which where we keep the coins that we want to get the daily interest on. You have to have a certain position in other places that we're not willing to put that much money into crypto right now. We'll build it up to that. Okay. Other than that, guys, no stock of the week this week. We're going to let this market kind of work itself out. We don't really see anything on the board that we don't already own that we want to own. If anything, we recommend go back and look at some of the other stock of the weeks because there's some great buys in there. Apple right now. We think Apple's really starting to flash some bullishness here. And it's kind of a deceptive stock right now. So it's probably in an accumulation phase. We'll know soon enough, right? Don't forget the big inflation report coming out. Not today. I believe it's tomorrow. We'll see how that shakes out, and we'll be back with another show. Okay, you guys trade smart out there and be patient. Okay, be patient. Don't fall into that petulance that a market that moves the way this is right now can kind of bait you into. Okay, all right, gang. I'll see you guys tomorrow.